Hey everybody, and welcome back. It's me, Amanda. Thank you so much for watching today. Today I will be sharing my first impressions of movies I watched for the first time in the month of May 2023. The list is number 1, My Left Foot. Number 2, The Jesus Music. 3, The Unholy. And 4, Book Club 2, The Next Chapter. I might have watched more movies for the first time in the month of May, but these are the ones I'm going to be talking about. Note, in the future, I will need to write my responses immediately after I watch them. I didn't do that this time. We'll see what happens. You ready? Let's go. Number 1, My Left Foot. I have seen this before, but it's been a while. It's been a long time. So I didn't remember any of it. So it was as if I watched it for the first time. And I really liked it. Again, inspirational biopics are my favorite movie genre, and this movie tells the story of the artist Christy Brown. It's very inspirational. He was born with cerebral palsy, which made it so he was only able to write and paint with his left foot, hence the title. It is an actual coming-of-age movie, which means the character goes from a child to an adult, which is what the phrase "of age" means, the age of adulthood. It drives me crazy when I hear people incorrectly calling any movie about children or childhood a coming-of-age movie. For example, I've heard The Sandlot called a coming-of-age movie, and Stand By Me. But an actual example of a coming-of-age movie is the movie Selena, one of my favorites. Anyway, it's a really good movie. I would recommend it. I'd watch it again. It made me want to read all of the books Christy wrote about his life that the movie was based on. I added them to my list. Number 2, The Jesus Music. This is a really good documentary interviewing famous Christian singers, telling the story of how Christian music as we know it came to be, starting in the 60s with the hippie Jesus music. It's fascinating. I am a Christian and I love Christian music, so I am all about this movie. I even recommended it to my small group Bible study after I watched it. I totally recommend it. Singers featured in it include Amy Grant, Toby Mac, Mercy Me, Newsboys, DC Talk, and Bill Gaither. I love it. I've watched it more than once. And then, come to find out, we have a copy of Amy Grant's second album, My Father's Eyes, from 1979. What do you know? I haven't listened to it yet, but maybe I will. Number 3, The Unholy. This is a horror movie I only watched once. It's about a reporter who is researching a potential story, then witnesses a seeming miracle where a deaf and dumb girl can suddenly hear and speak perfectly. Spoiler alert, I'm about to ruin it for you. It turns out that it wasn't a vision of Virgin Mary like she thought, but a ghost of a witch. Theologically sound? No. The overarching theme is, can miracles still happen? And the big revelation at the end proves not only can they happen, but also a ghost of a witch can make them happen. Ta-da! 2 things about this movie. 1, this movie is a perfect example of how showing the monster too much is a bad idea. Now, they were they did it in creative ways. She doesn't always look the same, but when the audience knows more than the characters, it's no longer suspenseful. I am not a fan of figuring out movies before they happen. I like to go on the ride and find out with the characters. Even movies that I've seen many times, like The Ring, or, for example, or The Village. But this movie, they show the monster too much. Number 2, there's a random bit where the church catches on fire and with a guy inside it, and the main characters just walk away and leave him there. And they never come back, and they never put it out, and they never save the guy, and they never mention it again. It's so weird. I kept thinking they would go back to it, but they never did. Plot hole. Would I recommend it? Not necessarily. If you like horror movies, okay. If not, don't bother. Anyway, moving on. Number 4. Book Club 2, The Next Chapter. This one I went to see at the movie theater with my best friend for my birthday this year. She loved it, and I was thoroughly disappointed. My first gripe is it wasn't funny. I had such high hopes because I love Book Club so much. It's so funny. I laughed my ass off. And this new movie, I think I laughed once. I described it to my friend this way. It's like the whole movie was written like, and this is where the punchline goes. None of the jokes were funny, and they were flat, and I think it's because all the jokes were already made in the first one. The first one was brilliant. If you've never seen it, you need to. It's so good. So if you don't know, it's about a group of friends, 4 friends, Jane Fonda, played by Jane Fonda, Diane Keaton, Candice Bergen, and Mary Steenburgen. And they all get together every month for book club. And the book they read in the movie is 50 Shades of Grey. And they use the book as the catalyst for all the hilarious shenanigans they get into. And there's a beautiful message about how older women can have love relationships too. And they make really funny jokes about it. But in the sequel, all the jokes were already made, so there was nothing new for the characters to say. So they just repeated themselves, and it wasn't funny because the characters were not in the same place or stage in life that they were in the previous movie. And my second gripe is, it wasn't based on a book. Other than the opening quarantine Zoom book club meetings, they didn't talk about books at all. They may have mentioned one once, but it was one I never heard of, and I didn't get the connection at all. I think it was a missed opportunity because, spoiler, it's all about traveling to Italy for Jane Fonda's character's bachelorette party. And I think Eat, Pray, Love would have been a better book to use as a catalyst for a travel movie about second chances at love. Maybe they couldn't get the rights. I don't know. So, while I totally recommend the first movie, I don't necessarily recommend the second. It's cute, but I didn't care for it. So, that concludes my new movie reviews for May 2023. If you like this type of video, please give it a thumbs up. If you know a movie you think I should check out, please leave me a message in the comments. Thank you so much for watching today. Remember to listen to God and do what He says, and I will see you again in my next video. Bye!